And so this is the review of the welterweight division for the men's in the 2016 Rio Olympics. 69 kilograms, or about 152 pounds. And the winner, gold medalist for this division, for the welterweight division, is Daniyar Yeleussinov of Kazakhstan, with a brilliant boxing display in the finals. Probably the most conclusive performance in the finals that I think that we've had in these Olympics thus far. I mean, outside of maybe the Levitt versus Tishenko robbery gift decision, what have you. But Yeleussinov was able to be very elusive. You know, it's kind of funny that Yeleussinov kind of sounds similar to the word elusive, because that's what he was throughout this entire tournament. Very elusive, slick, tall, rangy southpaw with pretty good pop behind his shots as well. Not necessarily a huge power puncher, but he has enough to get your respect. He definitely had enough to get Shakhram Giyasov's respect, in spite of the fact that Shakhram Giyasov of Uzbekistan, the now silver medalist, managed to largely overwhelm most of his opponents just with sheer volume, sheer speed. He has a very Amir Khan-esque style where he just floods you with punches, fast feet, comes right at you looking to land combinations. Against Yeleussinov, in the first round, I thought Giyasov did pretty well. I thought it was a fairly even round, probably for the first couple of minutes, but in the last minute, I think Yeleussinov managed to really find the timing down and was able to evade a lot of Giyasov's forward charges and land significant shots of his own. In the second round, I thought it was all Yeleussinov. Did a solid job of being able to just evade Giyasov for the most part. Didn't really land a whole hell of a lot in the second round necessarily for himself, but his sheer evasiveness, the defense on display, and the fact that he was able to kind of pot shot Giyasov and really frustrate the heck out of him. Giyasov was taunting him like crazy, trying to get him to draw him into a firefight. I think clearly gave Yeleussinov the second round. Third round was again pretty much all Yeleussinov until probably the last 20-30 seconds, where Giyasov just he just let his hands fly like nobody's business, and managed to catch Yeleussinov with a big right hand at the very end of the round. It's one of those things where, if this would have been a longer fight, maybe Giyasov would have had a chance, because the pace that he was setting was an extremely fast pace, an extremely stamina heavy pace, and I never thought that Giyasov looked really tired throughout the entire tournament. But again, in this fight, nor in his fights against his earlier opposition, he defeated. Let me actually get to the guys that Yeleussinov beat to get his way to the gold medal first. He had a bye in the first round, the round of 32, defeated Josh Kelly of Great Britain in the round of 16 in what was a pretty solid masterclass of boxing. Kelly barely laid a glove on him from what I saw. His next fight was, I think, probably maybe his second toughest. I think it's a toss-up between Gabriel Maestre in the quarterfinals of Venezuela and Suleiman Chisoko of France in the semifinals. Both of them gave him a bit of a difficult time with some of their angles, some of their timing. They were able to kind of catch Yeleussinov in where they were able to kind of predict where he was going to move his head. But overall, Yeleussinov still had the range advantage on him, still had the overall speed and snap advantage on both of them. And he was able to pretty much summarily outbox both. Even though that Maestre and Chisoko were able to land some good shots, Yeleussinov more often than not was able to evade their shots and land something in the zone. Of course, Chisoko winds up coming home going home to France with a bronze medal. Mohamed Rabi goes home to Morocco with a bronze medal, and I thought he was a really solid fighter as well. His fight with Shakhram Giyasov was probably one of the best fights of the welterweight division. Just a solid scrap all the way around. The two of them pretty much went to war. Giyasov, with the faster hands. Rabi, with a little bit more steam on his shots, managed to defeat Stephen Donnelly of Ireland. Giyasov also defeated Roniel Iglesias of Cuba in the previous round in the quarterfinals, as well as Eimanta Staniosis of Lithuania and Yoba Shishoko of Spain. Really solid victories for Giyasov. He was pretty dominant those first couple of rounds, the round of 32 and the round of 16. And even against Iglesias of Cuba, I thought he did a solid job. I only really saw him really having trouble with Mohamed Rabi of Morocco in the semifinals and Daniyar Yeleussinov of Kazakhstan in the finals, which I think really just puts a an exclamation point on just how good of a fighter Daniyar Yeleussinov proved to be in this tournament. I think that he was possibly um, the most dominant of the gold medalists so far. He may wind up being the most dominant of the gold medalists overall in this tournament. I think he's definitely going to be in consideration for the Val Barker Trophy, for basically the pound-for-pound #1 boxer of the Olympics. That's the trophy they give basically to the guy that basically performed the best out of the entire Olympic class, regardless of weight class and regardless of even what medal they got. But I think Yeleussinov is very, very highly deserving of it. I'm not sure if he'll get it though, because I have a feeling that Robson Conceição of Brazil might wind up getting it, because I mean he did an excellent job himself as well, but there's also the fact that he fights for the host country, he fights for Brazil, so I'd be willing to bet that in, kind of a close rundown of who really deserves the Val Barker Trophy, the fact that Conceição fights for Brazil, for the host country, he's now a superstar in his home country, is probably going to get the nod in as far as that goes. But Daniyar Yeleussinov, to me, I think probably deserves the Val Barker more than anybody else. So far, he's just the clear conclusiveness that he managed to defeat his field of opposition against, and he didn't have to suffer any robberies or gift decisions for the opponent along the way. He managed to do a clean, good job of outboxing pretty much everybody he went up against. Just a very classy boxer. Not entirely sure how his style is going to translate over to the pros, because it's a very physical style. It's a very he did a lot of I guess what some people may call running. He was a very mobile fighter, very pot shotty. It's kind of a very highly mobile, agile, stick and move type style. But you never know. I mean, the fact that he was able to outbox these guys for the most part so thoroughly, I think is really a good signifier for him just overall. Especially with how he dealt with Giyasov in the finals, in spite of the fact that Giyasov was starting to, I guess, get a beat on him at the very end there. I think that Giyasov especially, however, is going to be a very good pro, should he manage to turn pro. I think the promoters down there in Brazil should definitely be looking to sign him. He's an exciting fighter. He's a TV-friendly fighter, fan-friendly fighter. He's a guy that brings heavy offense, just speed and power. And like I said, he reminds me of Amir Khan, his overall style. He's looking to really do damage. And when I say Amir Khan, I'm talking about the old Amir Khan. Amir Khan when he went in and fought against, Marcos Maidana, and when he fought against Zab Judah, when, back at 140 pounds. That's what Giyasov reminds me of. Mohamed Rabi, I think, is going to be a solid pro as well. Bit more of a foot-planted power punching style. Same for Suleiman Chisoko of France and Gabriel Maestre of Venezuela. I think those three guys have pretty solid pro styles, more of a set your foot and really put power into your punch style. I mean, overall, the welterweight class I thought was a bit top heavy. I think that there was a little bit less parity insofar as like who the top fighters were. I think there was a clear difference in class between the truly elite fighters at this weight class and the guys that weren't quite as good, more like on the B level, or you may call it C level. With Yeleussinov, I think clearly the #1 fighter, and the other four guys I mentioned, Giyasov, Rabi, Chisoko, and Maestre being just below that top tier. But just overall, just a solid performance from all of those guys. Those are the guys that really impressed me of the welterweight division. I think those are the ones that everybody should be looking out for if and when they turn pro. And I mean, just a solid job from Yeleussinov. I think that he certainly deserves the Val Barker Trophy. So once again, with the rundown, Suleiman Chisoko of France bringing home a bronze after taking a loss to Daniyar Yeleussinov in the semifinals. Mohamed Rabi taking home a bronze to Morocco after losing to Shakhram Giyasov in the semifinals. Shakhram Giyasov of Uzbekistan taking home a silver medal after losing to Daniyar Yeleussinov in a unanimous decision in the finals. And Daniyar Yeleussinov of Kazakhstan bringing home a gold medal for the welterweight division to Kazakhstan in the finals after defeating Shakhram Giyasov, and overall just proven to be one of the more dominant, more clear-cut winners of this entire Olympic Games, and all of the Olympic weight classes, all the tournaments. that went on here. And incidentally, it's kind of funny because it looks like this is actually fourth, the fourth straight Olympic Games that Kazakhstan has won the gold medal at the welterweight division. So the Kazakhs are doing it big, at welterweight, and I'm hoping that that now that Gennady Golovkin is paving the way for Kazakhs to make it in the pro game and get some good money, get some good status. He gets a lot of criticism lately. I think a lot of that though has to do with the fact that he's kind of fought himself into a corner because he's proven himself to be so good. I think a lot of times criticism winds up coming with once you've proven a whole hell of a lot. A lot of times with boxing, the most proven guys are the ones that get critiqued and criticized the most as well. And I think that now that he's managed to make it to the big time on a certain level, that now the door is open for guys like Yeleussinov from the same country to manage to come in and give some of these pros some hell, man. I think he's a really solid fighter. The guys that he beat were solid fighters. I think that just proves his class just overall. The fact that he was able to beat a pretty good variety of styles and do so with a clear-cut victory over each one of them. So that's it from my welterweight review for the Rio Olympics 2016 gold medal matches. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.